Hey everyone, and welcome to Prune Insiders. I'm your host, Michael Adams, and today we have a special guest on with us. Everyone, please welcome Faith Davis.
Hello.
Hey Faith, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. Why don't we start this off by you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, my name's Faith, and I was born in 1994. I have Prune belly syndrome, diagnosed by Prune belly specialist Dr. Baker. However, my pediatricians knew about Prune belly, and they recognized it right away when I was a baby too. But we could never get a urologist to confirm it for a very long time.
Okay. So, wait a second. Why do you know why it took so long for the urologist to confirm the prune belly?
Well, my urologist back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, was a little hard-headed. He didn't believe females could have prune belly because of the undetected testicles. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware the statistics are a little bit more rare on the female side, but I still that's why I don't get about doctors. I don't think that just because you're a female or male should limit whether you have this or no you don't have this because a majority of them are male or female. I just think that's ridiculous. The point is it majority male? Okay, we can argue that. But that does not mean females can't get it too.
Most certainly. I agree.
So why don't you continue your story a little bit?
Okay. Well, when I was born, I ended up from birth to about 3 months staying in the NICU before I could come home. And then I developed breathing struggles with chronic lung disease. When I was about 15 months old, I ended up with RSV, and I ended up on a ventilator back in the hospital for a while. And
what is RSV, you said?
RSV is a virus that babies get. It's like pneumonia for babies.
All right.
I'm not sure what RSV stands for, though.
All right. So, all right. Why don't we continue?
All right. So from that point on, I've been in and out of the hospital mainly for breathing related struggles. I've had 29 cases of pneumonia from birth to now. And it's about over 500 days in the hospital total.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. I've been through a lot of treatments throughout the years. My mom did palm therapy on my back before the vest therapy came out. Are you familiar with vest therapy?
No.
So the vest therapy is it's an inflatable vest that hooks up to a machine, and it shakes you and it clears your lungs out and makes you cough up anything that's in your lungs.
Huh.
So that basically saved my life from about age 9 to now. My last pneumonia admission was in November of 2019, but I haven't been in the hospital for pneumonia since I was about 9 or 10.
Okay. And how was your childhood? Did you have many friends, bullies, things along those lines?
Funny you asked that. I dealt with some issues with a friend that I've been friends with for 10 years. I had to break it off to her recently because she bullied me. Unfortunately, in the adult world, some people just don't grow up.
Yeah.
But throughout school, I've had a lot of struggles with people bullying me because of my Prune belly syndrome. Rumors in high school went around saying I was pregnant when I wasn't because of my Prune belly. At the time, I wasn't as heavy set. I was a little bit slimmer and my belly stuck out a lot.
Wow.
And I had neighbors next door that made fun of me when we waited for the bus sometimes when I was in middle school. I couldn't run very well in gym class, so they would mimic my running, calling me grandma, like they pretend to be having walkers and stuff like that. It was really hurtful.
And how did all of this affect you mentally?
It not very well. At the time, I wasn't so confident, and my mom had to get involved a lot. And so that's basically how we solved problems for a while until high school. Then in high school, I became part of, it's called No Bully Zone. It was a support group for students and their parents to come in and talk about the school's bullying issues. And then I had like an intern therapist you would talk to while the parents had the meeting. And then I would come in as the representative for the hearing impaired program that was in my school. I'm actually deaf. I have a cochlear implant and a hearing aid. I lost my hearing when I was about 8 years old from the cytomegalovirus. It was a late childhood thing. I was born with the CMV, so that's what happened with my hearing loss. But getting back on track, I stood up for the special needs students and hearing impaired program, and we created this idea with a friend of my mom's called Lunch Bunch, and anyone could feel welcome going to this classroom during lunch and play games with each other without having to deal with bullies during lunchtime in the cafeteria.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, you told us about bullying, but did you have any friends growing up? Or mentors or?
Well, I wasn't socially aware of everything growing up because of I was protected a lot growing up. So friendships were kind of hard to make during school, unless if it was friends from church that went to school with me for the most part. I was put into this friendship group for socially awkward students, and we would have our own little field trip to this snack shop near the school, and then we would all talk about our feelings.
That's good.
Yeah.
And did that help at all?
I felt like it did. I made a few new friends that way. And they understood my disabilities and didn't judge me for it or make fun of me, which was nice. And I did the same with them.
Okay. And did you have any learning disabilities or anything like that in schooling? Like, I don't know how to word this.
Oh, it's fine. I don't mind answering.
Yeah, because Because like with
Go
me,
ahead.
I learned sorry, but I learned math and reading a little bit slower than the other students. So did you have like any learning setbacks or slow progression with learning?
Um, sort of. I didn't understand math for when I was starting to learn division and multiplication in middle school, but eventually I got the hang of it, and then I would help some of the other students uh, get the hang of it. Uh, but I have a learning disability called Central Auditory Processing Disorder, it's known as CAPD, and that is when your brain delays what it hears. It counts as a physical disability because it's auditory. So like, for example, if a teacher told me to turn to page, I don't know, 120, I might mix up the page numbers and turn to a different page, like 210.
Uh,
And so when that was happening, then the teachers would have to repeat what they said to me. Growing up, it was a problem at home. Like my mom would tell me to do like certain things in the house, but she would list it and not write it down. And it made me confused because then I wouldn't know what to do entirely. I would just remember the first thing, and then like I wouldn't remember like the next three things, but maybe the last thing.
okay.
Yeah.
And how'd your relationship with your sister?
We have a good relationship. We're 5 years apart. She's younger. Growing up, we didn't always get along. I had some anger issues growing up, and it affected my relationship with her when we were younger. However, now that we're adults, we try our best to get along whenever she comes home to visit.
All right. And they've been understanding of the Prune belly syndrome and all of that.
Of course, yes. My sister has been to a few of the Prune belly conventions, and she's learned more about Prune belly that way too.
That's good. So I know you're part of the network. So how many prune bellies would you say you've talked to without naming them, of course?
Oh, well, I've known a lot throughout the years. I would talk with some one-on-one at the conventions, but social media wise, I talk to maybe like 3 or 4 personally. I'm not always on the network page, but whenever I have a question, I usually make a post and then somebody talks to me.
Yeah, I've noticed everybody there is definitely very helpful and willing to give information on this, well, on what they've been through.
Definitely.
So, what made you want to come on here and share your story?
To help spread awareness of Prune belly syndrome. I think it's important because it is one of the top 5 birth syndromes in the entire world right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would you say is the hardest part of living with prune belly?
Pain, physical pain. Just because I have Prune belly doesn't mean it's the only thing that affects me. Prune belly has to deal with other diagnoses like scoliosis and flat feet. Sometimes that's part of like the genetics that
Yeah.
I've heard before, and I actually have fibromyalgia, but I'm not sure if that's Prune related.
Yeah.
And for my treatment for that is recreational marijuana, because in Michigan it's legal to get it recreationally. I do not have a medical card yet because of the basically my finances. Because when you go get a medical card, they want you to pay for it too, and it's a little bit much for me. But so I just buy recreationally.
Well, aside from having to pay for the card, I don't know how, what the prices of that stuff is in Michigan, but in New Jersey, they charge you an arm and a leg for this stuff, even medical, because that's what I'm on actually. And to me, I never like talking about the politics behind this because I know that gets dangerous, but
If
I feel like to a degree the government is taking advantage of these disabled people who need this medication.
I wouldn't necessarily say the government per se, big pharma. That's my theory of it.
Yeah,
They just want to make money off of people. When I'll be honest, I'm a Christian and I believe that God created this as a plant to use for good and for healing purposes. And so I believe that it shouldn't be an issue to be able to get it at all if you really need it, especially financially.
yeah. So, have you had many relationships growing up through the years? Well, high
You
school
mean like
and so on.
dating?
Yeah, dating.
Yes, I've had a few boyfriends growing up when I was a teenager till about now. I'm actually engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. His name is Mark, and he's very sweet.
That's great.
He understands my disabilities, and we have things in common that help us understand each other that way.
That's good. Now, how long did you wait to tell somebody you were in a relationship with that you had prune belly? Did you tell them right off the bat, or did you wait for things to get serious, or?
Not with everybody growing up. When I did online dating growing up, I waited till about maybe the second or third date. I kind of let them assume I was heavy set because of my weight issue. But I did explain to them, and then I've had some hurtful things said to me, and I've been called a catfish and that kind of stuff because I wasn't honest right away. So I just didn't let them people bother me.
Yeah. So, do you have any difficulty eating?
Not necessarily. I had necrotizing fasciitis in 2016 and I lost my right breast. It wasn't planned because I went in bursa screening and I ended up in an induced coma and they ended up taking it away with about 3 or 4 surgeries. And so because of that, I have this little tightness in my esophagus from being on life support. And sometimes it's a little difficult to swallow, so I have to take small bites when I eat.
Okay. Uh, hmm. What are if you don't mind me asking, what are some of the other conditions that you have maybe in common with prune belly or other rare conditions you have or along those lines?
Excuse me, I got a cough for a minute. My apologies.
No problem.
I do have scoliosis. I have upper kyphosis, lower lordosis, and the actual S scoliosis. And it used to be worse when I was a kid, and I had a brace that corrected it, so I never needed the surgery where they put screws in your back to straighten it out. But I came close to it.
All right.
I know that's common with some prune belly people.
At least
I have
you.
the
Sorry, go ahead.
I have the I have fibromyalgia. I'm not sure if it's prune belly related, but I know a couple people that have it, and then I also have the flat feet and the pneumonia issues with chronic lung disease and asthma.
All right. Now, funny story going back to the scoliosis thing. It actually took me because I still don't know if I have it or not, is the funny thing about this, because every doctor I went to, I'd go to one orthopedic, he'd say, yes, you have it. I'd go to another, no, you don't. Then I'd go to another, yes, you do. Then I'd go to another, no, you don't.
Why did you
So,
have to get so many opinions?
I was admitted in the hospital multiple times from the time I was 16, even still to today, months at a time, because I have this pain while eating and all around pain that nobody can seem to figure out. So I ended up in the hospital for like 2-3 months with every department in the hospital seeing me, and it was like multiple times through that. So it's like each time I get admitted, there'd be a new orthopedic doctor on call for the hospital while I was in there that would come and see me. And every time a new doctor would see me, it would be a new diagnosis.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that.
it's no problem. At least it's nothing compared to that nephrologist I just got rid of. But
Right.
getting back to your story, why don't we continue a little bit?
Okay. Um, is there something certain you want to ask?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to think. Where did we leave off?
I'm not sure. That's part of my CAPD.
Uh, um, do you have any future plans, like career-wise or anything like that?
um, well, I am disabled. I have been since birth. I was approved for Social Security about a month after birth, and I've been on it since then. I've had to do a job experience when I turned 18 to prove that I had struggles while working because of my prune belly syndrome.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it hasn't been easy, but I have been thinking about doing like online craft sales.
That's
'Cause
cool.
I like to do art as a therapy, and I think it would be both beneficial for me, and then I can make it into a business, like a tiny one, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the lessons you've learned through having to deal with prune belly?
Uh, don't let people get to your head about it. You know, the negative energy is not always worth it with people who don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I love about the network is it's a group of people with the same condition who can speak openly about it.
Especially when it comes to professionals about
Yeah.
belly that are not making any sense when they talk about it.
Yep. So, have you had any bad experiences with doctors?
Uh, the urologist in Ann Arbor that I had, that I mentioned before, he just wouldn't agree that I had Prune belly, and he would say I'm just fat.
Mm.
But there is something interesting I like to share. Dr. Baker looked at my belly, and I have this line that goes from like my chest down to past my belly button. And I'm not sure if it was based on that line or just what my mom explained to her, but she thinks my Prune belly possibly might not be genetic. That it's she thinks when my mom was pregnant with me that my bladder ruptured and then mended itself together, which caused that excess fluid to stretch my belly out.
Huh.
I'm not sure if there's been any other Prune belly people with that theory, but recently I had to have a cyst removal, and during the cyst removal, I collected a skin sample from my surgeon to be sent to Dr. Baker for DNA testing to see if we can unlock the key to Prune belly with the DNA research.
Yeah. And are they still working on that research or has that been proven?
I don't want to misquote Dr. Baker, but she has talked about families using not necessarily family trees, but it's like a chart that shows families who have had more than one Prune belly person into their family.
All right.
So so there is evidence of that, but I personally never met anyone that's had more than one Prune belly person in their family.
All right.
However, on my dad's side, there is a relative that passed away when he was about 2 years old, and it was my dad's brother. And he had waterhead. He had to have like a shunt put in to drain the fluid out of his head. But he also had a big belly in his baby picture, and we're not sure if he had Prune belly or not, because at the time it wasn't very familiar.
So there's a
So
possibility.
there's a possibility it could be genetic on my dad's side, but there's been talks about it could be genetic on my mom's side too.
All right. So, what advice would you give a prune belly who feels defeated right now, or down, or alone?
I guess it depends on why they're feeling down, but I say always keep confident in yourself, because not everybody's gonna understand you, but you can always spread awareness no matter what other people say.
All right. So, I think we're getting ready to wrap things up here, but just a couple more questions if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. First, if anyone watching this had any questions and commented them on the video or sent them to me, would you be willing to come back on the show and answer them?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right. And is there anything else you feel you would like to share about your story or just share in general?
I would just say to everybody, know your worth, because you don't want to let Prune belly syndrome get you down. You can use it in good ways.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to end off here on something I normally never do, but it's going to end on I guess a story or / joke here. Now, about that doctor said in Prune belly, you know what the best response to that is, at least in my opinion? I don't know if you've seen it, but about a year ago, I've seen a meme going around Facebook. And it's of this doctor and old lady talking. And it has the doctor saying, "Don't you confuse your 10-minute Google search with my 4 years of medical school." And then I think the response the old lady has to this doctor is the best I've ever heard. She said, "Don't you confuse your hour lecture on my condition with my 20 years of living with it."
Most definitely. I've seen that meme before, and I totally relate to it, and I think we all do.
Because I understand doctors, they're very smart, very educated. They can still, I hate saying it, but they can still be wrong.
Just because somebody has a degree doesn't mean they're not stupid.
Or that they have all the answers.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, Faith. It was a pleasure talking to you, and it was fun making this video. For everybody out there watching this, I hope this sparked an interest for you to research Prune belly. Now, I want to put on here, this video is not associated with the Prune belly Survivor Network in any way, and that they did not make this or sponsor this. However, if you want to view more view more information on Prune belly, please go to www.prunebelly.org. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and click the notification bell, and please share. I'm trying to get awareness out there, and I'm trying to spark passion for research for Prune belly, or at least a little bit more research for Prune belly in the medical field, and more awareness in the medical circles with doctors and stuff like that. Join us next week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
For a long time, I seemed unique from a very early age, asking why, feeling weak, living within a cage, wondering if I am the only one.
What was I supposed to make of my limitations? How much more should I take of this situation? Can it be I am the only one?
The only one. The only one.
All throughout, I found out what love's about, leaving no doubt I'll survive, channel the drive, not deprived. Feel alive.
Do you know how it feels to be times you think you are the only one who exists with the pain of not being the same. When you got brothers and sisters that don't share the same last name or share the same blood, but share the same battle. Some days are real good, some days are just a hassle. Operations to doctor visits, you are not alone. So I wrote this to let you know you don't have to be alone.
The only one.
You don't have to be
The only one.
You don't have to be alone.
These days, there are ways through the haze to sing his praise. We gather here with prayers held dear, wanting to erase all pain, death, and fear. Lord, please help them see. No one seems to have heard just how this came to be. We need to spread the word.
Show the world I'm not the only one. No, no. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this community. Thank you, Lord, for the thread we share. Thank you, Lord, for this unity. Thank you, Lord, for the power of care. Thank you,
The
Lord.
Prune Belly Syndrome Network is a volunteer organization devoted to patient support and education of the medical community about this rare condition.
1 in 40,000 live births result in prune belly syndrome, and all of them have all or some of their abdominal muscles missing.
50% will not survive their second birthday.
Our goal is to change the medical profession's perception of prune belly syndrome as a hopeless condition
and to educate and promote an interest among the community to do further research into the causes of the syndrome
and more effective treatments.
www.prunebelly.org.
You can help.
Thank you, Lord, for this community. Thank you, Lord, for the thread we share. Thank you, Lord, for this unity. Thank you, Lord, for the power of care. Thank you, Lord, for showing me I'm not the only one.
If you don't know what prune belly is, please go to www.prunebelly.org